I am Dr. Yetunde Reeves, the founder of Urban School Innovators. I've been in education for 20 years, and I started my career as a classroom teacher in Southern California. And I remember as a classroom teacher thinking that my influence on education was only limited to the kids I taught in my classroom. And so after spending 4 years in the classroom, I started thinking about going into school administration. That wasn't always my driving idea, because I always thought about the principalship as something that wasn't manageable. It wasn't something that you could feel success in, that you couldn't have a life by being a principal. However, I really believe that teaching and leadership is a calling. And so I decided to answer the call. And I was really excited when Oakland Unified School District was moving into small autonomous schools. And there I had a chance to design a school with parents and students and staff. And this really represents, I think, a dream for educators, to be able to actually design a school from start to finish and think about what you wanted to see different in education. And so I was the principal for Excel High School for 5 years, and then decided to go home to East Palo Alto and work in my community at a charter school that gave me a chance to see education from a different lens. It was a charter school, which certainly has some advantages, but then I was also serving a demographic that I hadn't had a lot of experience with. And what I realized is the demographic may have been different, but the issues facing urban students was really the same in terms of thinking about what kids aspire to and what systems are in place. And how do you prepare kids for the world, but also create an environment that really nurtures who they are and elevates them as young people. And after spending 2 years in that assignment, I decided to move into the district office, which was, again, that place that you never want to go because you don't see that as something that is your next step. And for me, working in Hayward, California, I was able to work with schools on a different level. So I supervised principals, and my job and my role was really to help them develop as leaders. And it was something that really was exciting, to be able to support educators who are at very different points in their career, but all who wanted to really make an impact in their building. And after 2 years in that role, I decided that my passion, where I feel the most invigorated, where really fuels my energy and gives me purpose, was working with young people directly. And so I left the district role and decided to go back into the principalship, which is really where I believe is my sweet spot. I took a position in Washington, D.C. At a school that I knew very little about, and I did not know that I was walking into a school that was really ripe for turnaround. And this is where I think I really realized what my calling is, which is a turnaround educator. And so I was a principal at a school in DC for 4 years. And it was really during this last 4 years where I realized that I had the notion of the principalship wrong. We were often thinking about the principalship as managing the entire program and responding to district mandates and focused on data and thinking about the educational program. And I was reminded of how important school climate is, and that if you don't begin with how students feel about school, that you're missing your starting point. And so in all of the schools that I've led and worked in, I think climate has always been something that schools wanted to address, but it always felt daunting. And I think a lot of times you don't know where to start. And so what Urban School Innovators does is we go into schools and we support you in thinking about those climate challenges that could be quick wins. That if you were able to address morale from the student perspective, or staff morale, or parent engagement, or what kind of experiences will hook students, that actually is the foundation to turn your entire school around. And so for me, as a 20-year educator, I know that it's possible to actually take a school community that may have some challenges, may have some issues with the typical things that urban schools encounter, which is how do you respond to young people who are coming to us from places of trauma, where they may have had a history of low performance. You may have lower parent engagement, and you may have a staff that needs a lot of professional development. But for me, if the staff is on board and you have a clear mission and vision, and you believe that young people, no matter what their demographic is, can excel at high levels, and if you believe that, and you just want someone to come in and work with your school and your staff on some strategies to take you from here to there, then we're certainly the organization to work with.